Hi everyone and welcome to part 4 of the 40k Cardi Cal. I hope you are absolutely loving your Cardis so far. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for being here for part 4. Part 4 is all about the sleeves. So we are going to be completing our sleeves in this section. So you want to take color number 4 if you are making the 6 color version like I am. Otherwise, if you are doing the 2 color or the 1 color option, you are going to be using your chosen color number 1. So I'm using the amphibian for my first sleeve. This is my color number 4. And of course, I am just going to be using my 5mm crochet hook, the same size as I've been using throughout this entire cal. So to get started on your first sleeve, you want to find the end of your yarn, and we are just starting with a slip knot, of course. And then you want to come over here to your first sleeve, and you want to find the armpit, so the very bottom section of your sleeve. Then all we're going to do is insert our hook in through the bottommost part of our armhole, and we are going to join in with a slip stitch, just like that. What we then want to do is chain 3. And of course, we are going to be working this sleeve in the alpine stitch, the same stitches we've been using throughout this entire cal. So we are starting off with a row of double crochet. Now, the exact stitch count for your sleeves is not really that important. The most important thing is to make sure that you end on an even amount of stitches, and you also want to make sure your stitches are evenly spaced. So you want to make sure you've got the same amount of stitches on the front of your sleeve as you do on the back. And the best way I find to keep track of that is to count how many stitches you complete before you get to your shoulder seam, and then you want to make sure you complete the exact same amount of stitches on the other side until you get back here to the beginning. For me, that's the easiest way to keep track. You may also like to place a stitch marker in the shoulder section to help you stay on track. Totally up to you, but again, the most important thing is that you end on an even amount of stitches and that you are spacing your stitches nice and evenly, not too close together, not too far apart. Basically now we're just working around this edge of our armhole with double crochets until we are back to where we just began. Okay, once you have finished your first row of double crochet and you're back to where you began, you are just going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 to join the round. So just like that. Then we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. So we're going to now be working back in the other direction. Okay, and this time, of course, we will be completing our single crochet row. So the most important thing here is to make sure you're not crocheting into your slip stitch where we joined the round, because if you do, you're going to increase your stitch count and your sleeve will end up getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it will look completely wrong. So make sure you're not crocheting into your slip stitch. We want to skip that, even though it will kind of look like you're skipping a stitch, but it's not actually a stitch, it's just your join. So we're now finding that next double crochet, and we are going into that double crochet with a single crochet. And that will be the beginning of our single crochet round. So now we are just completing 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way until we get back to where we began. Okay, here I am at the end of my single crochet row. Now what I'm doing is finding that very first single crochet and slip stitching into that stitch to join. We're then going to chain 3 and turn our work once again. And now we will continue working in the alpine stitch. So those first 2 rows were just our setup rounds, and now we'll be working in the alpine stitch just like we have been for the rest of the cal. So we're going to yarn over, and we're going to start off with an extended front post double crochet. And then of course we are following that with a normal double crochet. So we now just want to continue working in that sequence. So extended front post double crochet followed by a normal double crochet, and we're just going to continue that all the way around until we get back to where we started. Here I am at the end of the extended front post double crochet and double crochet row. So now I'm just slip stitching into the top of that chain 3 to join the round. Now I am chaining 1 and turning my work. And now we're just going to be completing 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way until the end of the round. Here I am at the end of my single crochet row. So again, we are just slip stitching into that first single crochet to join and then chaining 3, turning your work. And now we're just going to continue working in the alpine stitch, just like we have been throughout the entire cowl. We're just going to repeat those rounds until we have met the required row count for your size. So again, just referring to the written pattern for those row counts. And then once you've done that, come back here and I will show you what's next. Alrighty, here I am at the end of my main sleeve section. I'm just going to go ahead and finish off my last stitch. For me, it is an extended front post double crochet, but it may be a normal double crochet for you, just depending on your round count. Regardless of if you finish on an extended front post double crochet or a normal double crochet, you should be finishing on a double crochet of some sort. You shouldn't be finishing on a single crochet round. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 to join the round, and I'm going to chain 1. Now we want to turn our work and we are going to complete a decrease round, and this is what's going to give us that nice cinched in sleeve. So what we're going to do is complete single crochet 2 together all the way around. So we're just decreasing all the way around. So finding that first stitch, going in with our hook, pulling our yarn through, finding the next stitch, pulling the yarn through, yarning over, and pulling through all 3 stitches on our hook, and that is our first decrease. And we're just going to repeat that all the way around. And this is part of the reason why I said to you at the beginning of the sleeve that even though the stitch count is not super important, we do want to make sure that it is an even number. And that's just so our decreases will all work out nice and evenly and we won't have any stitches left over. So again, we are just finding that next stitch, inserting our hook, pulling that yarn through, finding the next stitch, pulling the yarn through, yarning over and pulling through all 3 loops on our hook. And we're just going to repeat this process all the way around. All right, here I am at the end of my decrease round. I have just finished my last decrease stitch. So now I'm finding that very first decrease stitch that we completed, and I'm slip stitching to join. Once you've joined the round, we can go ahead and cut our yarn and fasten that off. And that is one sleeve complete. So you should have something that looks a little bit like this. You can now go ahead and sew in any remaining ends that you might have floating around, but what you want to do next is repeat this exact same technique on the other side. So we need to go and complete Another sleeve, of course, on this side. I'm going to do that off camera because I'm not going to take you through that whole process all over again. If you need to go back and refresh, please go back, rewind this video and watch it again. It works exactly the same. The whole technique is exactly the same. The only difference is if you are using 6 different colors for your cardigan, you are now going to move on to color number 5. So we want to have a different colored sleeve on this side. So we just used color number 4, which for me is the amphibian. And now I will be moving on to color number 5, which for me is the morpho color in the Dirty DK. If you are following the 2 color or 1 color option, you will still be using color number 1. Okay, so here I have completed both of my sleeves now. So you should have something that's looking a little bit like this. Sorry, I can't get the entire cardigan in the frame. Hopefully you can get the idea. Now this brings us to the end of part 4. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I hope you are enjoying the cowl so far. The next part, which is part 5, will be the final part. So we are almost done. I cannot wait to see all your final cardigans. Please, please, please be sure to tag me in all your posts on social media because I absolutely want to see every single cardigan that you guys have made. Again, if you haven't already, please be sure to join the Talk Yarny to Me Facebook group. We have a group chat in there, so if you're wanting some pattern support or to just share your progress, share your finished products, please be sure to join. And of course, I would love if you would subscribe to my channel and turn on your notifications so you will be notified of all my future videos. But I will see you all in part 5, the final part of the cowl. I cannot wait. Until then, stay safe, be kind, and I will see you in part 5. Bye.